Hello and welcome to another tutorial. I am Jess, and today I'm going to show you the pen tool as you're seeing here. I've been asked a couple of times because I use it a lot and I really like that tool, but in the beginning it was really hard to get used to how it works. So I'm going to show you a couple of things and hope that helps. So first I'm going to show you the different tools in the pen tool menu, then two different methods to make the path and shapes. Then I show you the difference between path and shape. Then we are going to look at stroke, fill and selection tools. Then a nifty little thing that is simulating pressure if you're not on a tablet. Then how to use shaped brushes along the path, custom shapes, and then I'm going to show you an example that I have prepared here. So first let's take a look at the tools, and you can find them here where the little pen icon is, right above the letter icon, and if you click along on it you get this little menu here. So the first icon is the pen tool itself. The second is the free form pen tool. Then we have an add anchor point tool, delete anchor point tool, and the convert point tool. I'm going to show you what these do, and I'm going to start with that while showing you the methods. So first let us start a new file, and we have basically two methods. The first is click and drag, the other one is click and drag later. So first we use the click and drag, and that I'm going to do with the main pen tool. This is one of these methods that is hard to get used to, that needs a little bit of tweaking here and there and a little bit of practice. But once you get the gist of it, it isn't that hard. The first thing you need to know is after you made the path you can change it. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. So let's first start with click and drag. So you click and drag, and you can see these nice little handles here. These handles show you the direction your path will go. And when I click and drag here now, you see that the direction of this handle shows that the path is going this way, and the same is going here. So we can make a nice little path here, and you can see it's wobbly here, so you can still go in and correct that. I'm doing that usually by using the add anchor point tool, and I'm not going to add anchor points here, but you can click the existing ones and then correct the position and the rotation, stuff like that, which makes it much nicer. And you can add anchor tools to make the path more complex if you want to. So this is the add anchor tool. If you place something by accident or just think it doesn't work that way, you can go to the delete anchor tool here. So it's that easy. The second method, let me delete this path here. Yes, I'm sure, thank you. Which was basically just clicking. Now this is great if you have like a mountainside or something, or you want to make sharp teeth of a dragon or anything. But usually when you have a path tool, you either want to have straight lines and sharp edges, or you want to have curves. And if you want to have curves, you can still start like this if that's easier for you. And then we use the convert point tool. This convert point tool basically converts it from this point to a curve. So you click on the existing point and drag, and the handles appear, and you see it's very smooth here. It's very easy. Now if you accidentally pull in the other direction, you see this crossing line here, but you can just turn it around and make it all smooth and nice. See, that's easy. Now what was the next point? Next point is path with a shape. Now this is a path which is easy to explain basically. So a path is a not connected line. So let me take this. If you have this now, this would be a path. If you go on and connect this, it's still a path, but as soon as you fill it with a color, this area that is colored will be a shape. You can see it even better when you use the little thing over here. It's a little drag down menu. You can choose between path and shape here. Now path means you only get this curve, but when you click this away, there's nothing left on the paper. Now to do that, you have to click on the fill here, but we come to that in a moment. But you can see now this is a nice little curve. It's still not a shape. So when you go back to the pen tool and choose the shape, whatever you do here fills automatically, as you can see. And this is a shape. The nice thing about this is something we can go to right now, because we are at stroke, fill and selection. Now if we have this made with the shape option up here, we can change the position and rotation of these curves here, and the shape will change with anything you do. If you use the other method from before, go to pen tool, use a path, and make this nice little shape here. Now when you go in and use the fill option here, and then want to change something, oops, sorry about that. You will have to fill it again, which is okay when you move the curve a bit to the outside, but if you go to the inside here, you have to first delete the layer and then fill it again. So if you work with the shape in the pen tool here, you have the advantage of being able to change it anytime, and this path here is the wrong one, so we can delete this. And you can go around here and either delete things, or you can add anchor points. You can convert to have some nice pointy edges here. There's one thing I haven't shown you yet, and that is when you have these anchors here with the handles and go to the convert tool. You might not want to have a 90 degree edge here, so you can just take one handle and move it the way you need it. So you can combine the edges here and move the angles just how you need them. Very easy. I believe that the thing that is most scary about the pen tool is that in the beginning it really takes a lot to get used to. But basically you can just play around with it, and if nothing else works, you can just go to edit and undo. So one thing that you just notice is if you take the basic pen tool here, you can't grab the handle, so it will make a new point where you click, and you don't want that. So if you want to grab the handle, go either to the convert tool or the add anchor point tool and drag it around here. So that was the shape and path. The fill I showed you, I have shown you the stroke, but I'm showing you again. So in the path menu here, when you have a path, yeah, I wanted a path, not a shape. So I'm going to choose path, make path, and then choose a brush. I'm just going to take this simple brush here and click the stroke option. That will make a line along the curve. Another option to do that is go with the pen tool and right click on the curve here and use stroke path. And you can choose brush or eraser, pencil, smudge, blur, anything that will then follow this path. It's really, really great. So I'm using the brush, and there we go. Another thing is that you can make this path, or any shape really, a selection. So let's say you want to have a selection of this in a certain shape, wherever you would want to have that, and then you click on make selection, and then you have a selection running along the path here. Now that can really be for cutouts and stuff like that, and I can show you something when we do the example in the end. We want to deselect that. Now what was the next point? Next point was simulate pressure, which I can show you fantastically with a different path here. Okay, let's make a path and hope this works, because sometimes Photoshop doesn't let me do that. We take the pen tool and right click on the curve here, stroke path, and now you see the simulate pressure thing right here. When you click on that, it should simulate the pressure of a tablet, and it doesn't. And that is what happens all the time. Oh my god. So let's try that again. I don't know why it doesn't do that. It did that earlier when I didn't want it to do. It doesn't do that now. So usually it works. Right now I think it's the Murphy effect. So I don't know. Maybe I have to put something in. Usually I don't have to put anything in the brushes or something. Let me just see if I have to. Pen pressure maybe. I don't know. Usually I don't have to do this. But there we go. Yes. So if it doesn't work like it should, go into your brushes, choose the brush and go to shape dynamics, and then control pen pressure here. So you can see here it starts really thin, goes thicker here, and ends really thin again, because it tries to simulate pen pressure on a tablet. This can be really great, for example, if you make illustrations and want to have nice wispy ends, or if you try to make hair, something like that. So just play around with it a little. It can be fun. So brush along the path. This is one of my favorite tools. Let's say, for example, I have done some stitching on a texture before, and this was really helpful. Now let me make a new layer here. Now let me see if I can find the brush I want to use for this. I have way too many brushes here and I haven't even loaded all of them. It's just those that I use more often or needed at the moment. So let me see if I can find what I want. Yeah, if this is, for example, nice. This is a stitching brush. There, you can see this. Now let's make a path. Let's say this is the way you want to do your... Is this crochet? Maybe, I don't know. So now first thing we're going to do is we go to stroke path, simulate pressure off. I hope it works. And then look at this, and it follows and it turns around when it has to. And this is one of the magic things of the pen tool. If it doesn't work right away, you can go in here in the shape dynamics, angle jitter, and go to and change this control to direction. That means it follows the stroke path. You can also, if you don't want to use the pen tool for that, you can also just paint it with your brush. But if you use the pen tool to follow a certain line and don't want to hand draw that, it's perfect for this. Yes. The next thing was shapes and custom shapes. This is another of my favorites. And these you can find down here. The fourth icon in this little section here. When you right click on it, you can make path or shape, just like with the pen tool, of a rectangle, the round edged rectangle, ellipses, as well as circles, of course, and the polygon tool, which are kind of weird thing. What is this? I'm not quite sure what happened here. So this is new. This is polygon. I have never seen this. Oh, here's sides. Let me try 6 sides. This makes nice little stars. That's interesting. You can fill it with gradients. You can decide the stroke. So let's, for example, say we have a black stroke and this gradient here, and this didn't work. Okay, the stroke is so thick that we can't see the fill. That makes sense. So you can play here with the fill, gradients, patterns, unicolor, or no fill at all. You can also click here to change a color you want to have. So let's take a gradient here, make it radial, and stroke in black with a thickness of 1.5, and there you go. You can even change the stroke pattern, which can be dotted or dashed or full line. You can align this outside, inside, middle. You can make round edges, straight edges, outside straight edges, right at the point. You can round the corners if you want to. So you can just play around with this. This is really, really nice. And line tool is actually what it says. You can just make these lines here. You can also fill those, though sometimes it might be a little bit weird to fill them. And custom shapes. Custom shapes are fantastic. These are some of the standard ones that you can just use, and you cannot just use them, you can also change them. So if you go then to your pen tool and use the add anchor point and click on one of them, you can, one of them, not all of them. Okay, you can completely change the look of your custom shape and make it even more custom to whatever you need or want. Look at this, and there are so many, tons of custom shapes in the internet. Most of these that I have here right now is of people. Every now and then a couple of symbols here. I have basically thousands of custom shapes on my hard drive, because you never know if you might need them. We have an LCAS here, for example, that we can make a nice menu with. Or we have butterflies that we can fill and stroke and everything. Or as I said, we have a couple of people here, which I use with a black fill and a no stroke for certain images on Starbase 118, and this is what I have the most fun with. First, the pen tool, of course, is a fantastic tool. Custom shapes is much more fun, and you can even combine the pen tool and the custom shapes, of course. Let's say we take the pen tool here to make this top she's wearing a nice color. Now, as you see, I am using the pen tool way outside this shape, and you will see what I'm going to do. Let's make this red and fill, and then I'm going to make a clipping mask. You can either right click here and create clipping mask, or hold down your Alt key between these two layers. There, now she has a nice red shirt, and that is how I color in sometimes when I use these custom shapes. Now I wanted to show you an example, I think. Yes, so let me close this. I don't want to save this, and we are going to use this symbol here. It's, as the name says, the early 2270s Starfleet emblem. I'm putting a new layer here. What I'm going to do is I'm using the path to have a little bit more control and to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to just use the middle part here. And I'm starting down here and going along this path here. And as I said in the beginning, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can still change it later if you have to. So let's go along this path. What I usually try to use as little of these points as possible, but sometimes I'm just doing whatever because either I'm lazy or it's too difficult. So now I'm going in and adjust the handle a little. Every now and then I'm adding something to make sure that it looks as close as possible to what I want to have. To pan around in the picture, I'm pressing the space bar, which makes the little hand appear. Which is easier than to play around with the things at the side there to scroll around. Scroll bars, I think they are called. Only I can forget the name of these. So what I'm going to do is that I first make a layer with the black and then have a layer put on with white. And after that I'm using a selection to cut out the star here. So this layer now will be simply filled with black. So make sure that black is active here. And there we go. After that I'm disabling this layer. Make a new layer. And see if I can actually make this with a shape just to show it in action. Usually I don't do this because I get very easily confused when there's something in my view, so I don't see everything. But it usually depends on how the shape goes in the way. If you have noticed, my screen is a little bit laggy. I believe it doesn't like running for a couple of days without a break and then going to streaming. But we get through that. And I noticed that I'm not doing a shape here, so let me delete this and start again. Sorry about that. Why did nobody tell me, huh? So let's try that again. So this isn't too hard at the moment, so that's great. And as soon as I come down here, you will see that the star in the middle will be covered, there we go, by the shape getting in the way. And you will see in a moment why I usually don't do this. Say here, I can't really see anything anymore, so I'm going here to lower the opacity of the shape so I can see where the lines are that I want to follow. You can do this opacity thing while you're working, you don't have to stop working. And this is a corner here where I will have to fix. Now we go in with the add anchor tool to find where we have to fix something. So this is okay. Instead of changing to the delete anchor tool here, you can also hold down your Alt key, which changes the cursor to a minus, which works as well if you want to. That could be easier for streamlining your process. So okay, this is perfect, but we will just go with it. Usually I take more time, but I don't want to have you sit here for hours and hours. We are already half an hour in, so I'm just doing this quickly here. So this is the shape. Opacity back up, C. Now we have this. Now the last thing that we are going to do is to make a selection out of this. So first we take the pen tool again, and this is all edges and pointy, so we just go to click and click and click again at the edges with the path. I have to do the path, thank you. Okay, path instead of shape, and go around and around here. Now a little bit of fixing. That's fine. There, okay. Now let's activate these. What we're gonna do is why is this? Yeah, and what we actually did was we painted on the shape. So it already is cut out here, as you can see. That is not what I wanted to show you, but it's something that I actually have never tried before. So if you use the pen tool on a shape, it cuts out whatever you paint on this. So let's try this the way I intended it, and let's remove this, make a new layer so we don't accidentally paint on the shape again. Click. Some more here. Just a moment of fixing some things. There, that's enough. So what we do now is we go to path and click the load path as selection. And now we have the selection here. We go and click on the shape and then click add layer mask. This now turned it around, of course, so we go into Control I, I'm sorry, E is in German. Control I for invert, and there you have it. Now you cut a hole into the center path. And this is how easy this is. You can make it more complicated. You can do some other things with this. You can I have seen people who would do this working around the edge here and the outer edge here to make the black part, but using this white one as an overlayer works just as well, because you cut out the white here to show black again. So why would you not use that? What you can do now, of course, is to apply all kinds of blending options. For example, you can make this a pattern overlay. That's interesting. It's whatever you want to do. Of course, this looks awful, so we don't want that. You can use actions and styles. I have styles here. Maybe there's some metal part. which you can do, and that you can leave it as is. You can stroke and outer glow, inner glow, drop shadows, and whatever kind of stuff you want to do. So let me make an inner shadow here so you can see that. And it applies to the edge out here and to the edge in the middle here because you cut this out. Now if you don't want to have this applied to the middle part, you will just do you can paint this either over or don't start doing the cutout. I'm just painting this over with white. Oh, this is grey. Paint this over, and then it's done and gone. And you can use the pen tool again to simply put another filled layer that looks like crap, because I went too fast. Go to path, fill, and then we do that again with filling it with black. And there you have it. So this way you have it above here, and if you put, for example, a style on this, it won't affect the middle part. So this is basically everything I can show you right now for this pen tool and the shapes. I hope this was a little bit helpful. I'm sorry that it was so long. This is sometimes really hard to explain. I still hope that you will have a little bit more information now to be able to play around with this and to help you with your creations. And if you do anything with the pen tool after this video, I would love to see that, so please leave it down in the comments. And if you have another tool in Photoshop that you would like to see a little bit more explained and shown you examples for, please let me know in the comments as well, and I will do my best to explain it to you. So have fun creating and stay fabulous. Bye bye.